Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this month's edition of Centerville Business Today. This month we're going to do it a little bit different than we normally do. For those of you who watch the show every month, you know that typically we're on site at one of the local businesses. But this month we're doing something special because we wanted to educate and let people know about an initiative that the City Council adopted actually about a year or so ago. We wanted to take a fresh look at some of the business regulations, the business rules, the signage rules and so on that businesses have to comply with, because many of these rules have been in place for an awful long time, sometimes even 10 or 20 years. They were all adopted with the best of intentions, but I think any organization, and the government of course is an organization just like a large business, needs to step back from time to take a look to see if the rules that are in place are still efficient, whether they still meet the goals that were in place when those rules were adopted. And I'm very happy to have with me one of my colleagues on Centerville City Council, Belinda Kenley, and one of the prominent local businessmen who served on the committee with Belinda that we're going to hear about, Tim Sutmiller, who's the property manager at Cross Pointe.
Yes, sir.
And Belinda's going to talk a little bit about, she was the chairwoman of the commission. The council put a group together to step back, take a year or so and just really analyze the different regulations that were in place to make recommendations as to whether those regulations needed to be tweaked or changed or even eliminated, and really to find ways to streamline the process. We wanted Centerville to be an easier place to do business in, and frankly our goal is to make Centerville the easiest place for a business to operate in Montgomery County. And the goal of this committee that Belinda is going to be talking about was to do exactly that. So with that as backdrop, Belinda, I'm going to turn it over to you for a little bit to talk a little bit about what your task force, what your group did, and then Tim, I know we've got some specific questions for you, and we'll just kind of jump in and start explaining what we were up to. So
great.
Belinda?
Well, Mary, this was a wonderful experience. I really appreciated you giving me this assignment. Centerville has more than 700 businesses ranging from one to hundreds of people, and it's been a wonderful way to learn more about the needs of the business community. We selected several business owners or their representatives to serve on this committee. I'd like to start by thanking each of them. Of course, first Tim Sutmiller, Don Wright Realty and Property Manager of Cross Pointe Center. He's been a wonderful addition to this committee. Paul Clark, who chairs the city's Planning Commission. Crystalyn Johnston from Miami Valley South, one of our largest businesses in the city. Patrick Beckel, who is a nationwide insurance representative, business owner, and also the president of the Heart of Centerville. And then we had a couple others who were joined us for part of the time. That was Mary Ellen Lee, owner of Pieces of Style, and just a dynamic businesswoman in the heart of Centerville.
Well, you had two colleagues on council that served as well.
Yes, Joanne Rao and John Beals were also instrumental in moving this process forward and making sure that the meetings were very productive and our time well spent.
Well, I have to say, I mean, I was thrilled that you agreed. I know you've got a lot on your plate, but I was thrilled that you agreed to lead this group, and I'm certainly grateful for everyone who served on it. It's a big time commitment, and I know the staff. You had a lot of staff support.
We did. Andrew Rodney, who is the city's new planning director, and then Nathan Cahall, who's oversees the economic development piece for the city. Both gave this group a wonderful understanding and overview of the current city practices, regulations, requirements, helped us understand really the processes by which businesses go through so that they can do business in the city. And with that baseline then, we began to look at the current processes and see how we could streamline them, and we got great support from the staff. So we came up with several recommendations that Tim and I would like to discuss today. First of all, we recommended and council agreed that we'd like to continue this business task force as an ongoing volunteer board with the city. We'll meet quarterly, to continue that open dialogue and address issues when they come up.
That's a great idea, just to keep the lines of communication open.
Yes, and then we also got council approval for allowing businesses along 675 to have signage facing the highway. As you know, we have a number of businesses right there on 675, and while we aren't going to go crazy with lots more signage and flashing lights and all that, we are going to modify some of the regulations, relax them a bit.
I think that's great because you don't want it to look like Las Vegas,
Right.
but you also need to have an opportunity for businesses, to advertise and to let people know they're there and encourage people to come on in. So it's always a balance, but it sounds like you've recommended that we loosen things up a bit, and I think that's a great idea.
Good, thank you. And then a couple more things we'll talk about briefly today are doing some long-range planning for the Cornerstone Development neighborhood. Staff will attend the Heart of Centerville meetings on a monthly basis to talk with those business owners about their specific issues, which can be very different from some of the other outside that Heart of Centerville area. And then also we recommended and council has approved that we can streamline the process for temporary signage. So I think with those recommendations, we'll talk a bit, Tim, about the specific ones you were involved with.
Temporary signage was one that got me pretty good. You had to go to the city and find out the sign could be 3 foot by 4 foot, and then it could be two-sided, it could be one-sided, it could be so high, that's fine. You take it, you get the permit, you go do what you have to do, you take it back. It may have to be approved, and for a new business that's opening up, and you tell the guy, hey, he's going to open up 2 weeks from now, and the sign won't be, the temporary sign won't be permitted for another 4 weeks. That doesn't work.
Right.
But with Andrew, that works a lot faster now. I mean, I can call him up on the phone and I said, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. Can we get this through? And he said, yeah. And it works out great. The temporary signs are great. They work fantastic, as long as they make them look nice,
Right.
If somebody puts one of those, and I hate to say this, the board out there that has the electric lights in it, and they have the plastic letters that go on and on, not the flashing ones, but the ones they put on,
Right.
then overnight somebody comes and changes all the letters to spell out something else. I don't like those. But if it's a nice temporary sign that's made by a nice sign company, I have no problem with that at all.
Well, Tim, one thing that I know the committee's done that I think is great is come up with brochures that kind of lay out some of the lay out the guidelines, lay out the rules, and I know you had a lot of input on that. I just think that's a big improvement.
Well, the other thing, Mr. Mayor, we have to get the landlords, real estate agents, and everybody with that now, so they know what's going on. So they know that if I'm going to open a business, that I got to go this way, and this way. I got to follow the plan. The plans are a lot easier now than they used to be, which is fantastic. As long as you do what they say and do it the way they say to do it, it works out great.
Right. But you've got to know what the rules are.
You got to know what the rules are first.
Because one thing that struck me just from comments over the years is that, people, new businesses coming in, even existing businesses that wanted to expand, it wasn't always as easy as it should have been, frankly, to find out, well, okay, what are the rules now?
Yeah.
And I think what you all have done on the committee with the brochures that you've helped develop with the staff is really, make it a heck of a lot easier to figure out, okay, well, here's how you do this. And I think that's a huge benefit.
And what Tim and I have talked about with Andrew and Nathan is getting those out into the hands of the commercial realtors,
Right.
the
Right.
bankers, do as much public awareness about the new guidelines and how to have a better understanding of them. Anyone who's interested in getting those can either contact Andrew Rodney at the city, or there are actually copies at the city as well. Easy to read, easy to follow and understand. We're also putting more information in the town crier
Good.
in that quarterly publication so that we keep our residents and business owners and the community aware of the guidelines so that we make it an easy process. We're not policing them, we're helping and supporting them.
Well, yeah, they don't do it. The brochures don't do any good if they just kind of
They just
stay
sit there,
in
they're
City
not gonna
Hall.
do
Right.
anything at all.
Yeah, the idea is to get the word out, and it should be, it is. It's written to be a very useful tool for businesses to use, and that's a great benefit and a great improvement, because we want the rules to be sensible, but they have to be articulated in such a way that people know what the requirements are.
We found too that the city staff just really has been open to working in a more friendly, business-friendly, helpful, courteous way. And I think we just opened the lines of communication between city staff and the
In the
business
businesses,
owners.
that's right.
Yeah.
But I didn't know there were 700 businesses in Centerville.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
And the other thing,
I
tell
didn't,
them,
something
yes.
else I didn't know about. I didn't know about the Heart of Centerville. We've owned the shopping center since 2003. And the only way I found out about the Heart of Centerville was by going to this meeting, the task force.
Right.
That's the only way I found about it. Now, I want to know how come does all 700 businesses in Centerville know about it? And if not, how do we get that word out to them?
Well, that's a good point. I mean, I think we have to kind of figure out ways to reach out, because the Heart of Centerville organization is a great group, and they really, focus on not just downtown, but a lot of, throughout the entire area, the entire community.
And especially this a week from tomorrow.
What's going on then, Jim?
Week from tomorrow is May 2nd. We're having it's like a community affair. We've got booths set up in a couple empty suites. We've got car dealers. We've got food trucks. We've got a band different bands are going to play from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
And where is this going to be,
This is
young
going to be
man?
at Cross Pointe Shopping Center starting at 9. I want everybody to show up. It should be a fun time. But I'll also have a lot of we'll have other stores or other businesses that aren't in Cross Pointe showing up in different suites of what they have and what they sell and different things like that, which is a great thing. I don't know of everything that's down off of Franklin Street.
Of course.
I'd like to, but I don't.
Well, I tell you, the community affair is going to be a great event. I mean, I think this is the third or fourth year. First time it's been at Cross Pointe, and you're right, May 2nd, 9 till 3, I think.
9 till 3.
So I certainly would encourage people to come on out for that. I know we're running out of time, which we never have enough time to go through things, but I know the brochures, you've got 3 or 4 different brochures.
There are
Do you
4.
recall, what are the topics covered?
They are setting up a business, accessory guidelines. That would be like for a shed or whatever kind of accessory to your building. Fences, and Tim, what is
Signage.
Signage, that's right.
All right.
Signage was a big one.
Yeah.
And real quick, I want to say something. I mean, I've enjoyed doing this. This has been fun. I'm looking forward to doing it more.
Well, Tim, I'm happy to hear that, and again, we're really thankful for your I know how busy you are, but we're thankful for you being willing to serve on it. I mean, again, and Belinda, as always, thanks for your leadership. It's important, and we need to kind of reach out. We want to, again, be the easiest place to do business with in the entire community, and one way to do that is to have easy to understand rules and kind of make sure businesses understand what they are. Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, we've only scratched the surface of a lot of the good work this group has done. I think we're going to have another meeting or another discussion about that. But I want to thank you for checking in. That's the end of this month's edition of Centerville Business Today. Thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Take care.